guys, today we're reacting to a wild clip out of CNN. Apparently these two guests go at each other pretty hard on the trans issue. Now you guys have been tagging me, Amala, you gotta react to this. I'm just kidding, not a single one of you asked for this. But this is what we're gonna react to today. Apparently this 2-minute clip completely shows us the story of how Democrats lost this last election. So let's see if it's true.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt.
Did he just say referring to a trans girl as a boy is a slur? It's a slur to refer to somebody as their biological sex? That's crazy to me. And you know what? It does seem like he's pretty respectfully trying to have a conversation about why this last election might have been lost and about the conversations that people want to have and how those people are coming to the table and realistically saying, should boys be competing with girls? And when he comes with that mild-mannered argument, this guy attacks him. And I mean, full force is attacking him, saying, I'm not going to listen to this. We won't even table the conversation. That, guys, is why you've lost. You won't even table the conversations that reasonable people are wanting to have. And conservatives will allow everybody of every background, of every perspective, to sit with them and have the conversation. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Let's
not how it is.
Jay,
they're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls softball. I'm not going to.
They're not boys because they said they're not boys. There's no such thing as a trans child. I'm just going to tell you the hard truth right there. There are kids that experience gender dysphoria, and I feel so bad for those children that they are now living in a world where they feel like there's an incongruence with themselves and their mind and their bodies. That's so difficult to go through. We all go through tough times in our development, but to add gender dysphoria on top of that is something I would not wish on my worst enemy. But we're celebrating it instead and saying put them on puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapy and give them a double mastectomy, allow them to be who they want to be, when it couldn't be further from who you actually are. It's not an authentic journey. And he's getting so worked up about this because he feels some sort of moral superiority over everybody else. But at the end of the day, this is children that we're talking about, their livelihoods that we're talking about. You need to calm down so we can have a conversation and keep them safe throughout this discussion that we have. Let's continue.
Sit there
Let's reset for a second because, look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Michael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, like, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Okay, so
out of respect for Jay, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful. Why doesn't he have to be respectful to me? He just made a point and the guy came barreling in saying, no, we're not going to talk about this. We're not going to platform your views on this and we can't have the conversation in the way you want to have it. He disrespected the initial man. What do you mean that I now have to respond to him with respect? And when they say respond to him with respect, they mean compel your speech to match what it is that he wants to hear because he won't have the conversation with you otherwise. This is like, I don't know, telling a toddler that they can run around and throw a tantrum and the world is just supposed to mold itself to whatever the toddler's doing. It's not the case and it's unfortunate, but we all know it's CNN, so surprise.
Let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
Yeah, that's good. I thought he was about to like soy boy out and say, let me rephrase it. But he said, since I'm being targeted, call them out, call them out.
No, it's to be clear, you are not being
but
targeted.
I am, but it's okay.
I'm specifically saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. But he wants to.
Well, first of all, what does it even mean to be transphobic? If you recognize biological sex now, you are transphobic. If you say that boys have an advantage over girls and shouldn't compete with them, you're transphobic. If you say they shouldn't be in your locker rooms or in your bathrooms or in your spas, that's transphobic. So, I mean, if that's what qualifies as transphobia, then I was damn near meaning to be transphobic because I'm just trying to have an honest conversation. So instead of telling the toddler to stop having a tantrum, they say, okay, it's actually your fault. Be more respectful so that he doesn't freak out on you. Guys, clown world. This is actually why they lost the election. Because when people are trying to have normal conversations about issues that are important to them and that are impacting the most vulnerable in our society, children, they can't even have the discussion. And mind you, this is 2 grown men at a table full of other adults. And one of these men is a child. And the child is being listened to, much like with the trans issue. The child, who is clearly not in their right mind in what they're thinking right now, is the one that we are platforming and saying we must blindly affirm. And that's exactly what's happening in this back and forth. We're going to keep watching.
I'm not calling you transphobic. I'm saying you're using a phrase
I want to
that
give you an opportunity.
So the way regular
That's
people
not-
interpret it,
That's not
which is why
regular
those ads
people.
were
That's not regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys.
Oh, there is. There is, though. I mean, maybe not in America where all these people are bought and paid for doing these studies where we actually found out that doctors were finding out through their research and through treating patients that what they were doing was harmful to children. And they actually hid that data from the American public. So I wonder who he's going to cite here in saying that we don't have any consensus on this, because a lot of our institutions are completely out of whack. And you can look to Europe and see all of these other countries who have decided definitively we do not need to be moving forward with this sort of treatment of children. In fact, it is tantamount to abuse.
This whole thing about trans girls is a canard. We're talking about a tiny, tiny sliver of the population.
That may be the
and
case,
we're using
but
that
my point in
to
terms
take
of
away
its
healthcare from
effectiveness.
thousands of people.
Hold on, just get to your point.
My point in terms of its effectiveness, regular people with children look at these things and they say, you know what, this is a bit too far.
Yep.
I do not agree with
That
this.
they do.
I don't like this. I think Democrats are going way too much to the left on social issues. They're uncomfortable with it. A lot of people believe that. A lot of families believe that. You may disagree with that reality, but that's why Republicans kept running those ads over and over and over again, because they saw the metrics suggested
And
that they were
lying
working.
in those ads.
Not lying. I mean, look to Sweden, look to Finland, look to Germany, look to the UK right now that is going through mountains of lawsuits in regard to this. In the US, look to the Cass report or Cass review. Look at the WPATH files. There's so many different things you can cite to completely debunk this guy's argument, but his argument is purely emotional. And you have to listen to Shermichael Singleton's point here. He's saying, normal, regular people are telling you this is not okay. In large part, too. I mean, we're talking the popular vote plus the electoral college. So if Americans from all different demographics are coming to you and saying you've gone too far, you need to slow this down and you need to reassess. This is not an okay thing to do to children. Why is it that you believe that you have the moral high ground over these people, that you are somehow the righteous one amongst the general population in the popular vote telling you you need to stop, this is not okay? It's narcissism. It's narcissism. And it's narcissism in this sort of hidden way of I'm doing things for other people. It's really not about me. But at the end of the day, it is very much about you.
Over and over again, and using rhetoric like you just used, saying this is boys playing girls sports. First of all, we're talking about 5 people in the entire country.
You would prefer?
We're talking.
And you'll see that leftists try to say this is only a small portion of the population anyways. Okay, well, why are you trying to make it seem like the issue is smaller than it is if it's not even an issue at all? Why does it matter how much of the population is impacted by this if it's purely not an issue at all? You see? And they're trying to sort of localize it, make it smaller, say it's tinier than it actually is, because they know that it's wrong. So they want to tell you that, oh, well, at least nobody's being impacted by this.
About trans girls being allowed to play with the people who are in their gender. And if you don't believe, you don't have to listen to me. Listen to the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association.
The American
This is not about the issue.
Guys,
Right?
just one second.
This is about trying.
There we go. And you don't even get to hear more because the conversation is just completely upended by this sort of energy. These are 2 grown men at a table full of other adults. It's kind of crazy that we can't even have a conversation. And I say this all the time. It's crazy that this is news, that we are watching people just argue back and forth and they can't even remain in a normal temperament while doing so. And this is what we consume as Americans. We are sick. There is sickness. We should be getting objective facts through our news, not all of these different opinions. And if we are getting opinions, which I do think is valuable to a certain extent with news, but news has gone too far. I would click into MSNBC to hear the news, to get some facts about what's going on. I don't want to hear Rachel Maddow's description of what's going on or how she feels about what's going on. And that is what our news has become. If you're going to platform different ideas and different opinions and try to debate these things, it should be respectful. I mean, just at the very foundation of it. And if you can't manage to be respectful, which Shermichael was, the other guy wasn't, then you shouldn't be invited to the table anymore, because that's not what American news is about. But their numbers go up when they have these arguments. But I will say, I guess I'm contributing to that. And it's because these arguments, for me, point out the real issue and why Democrats lost. Normal people are saying you're doing too much, and you're calling those normal people transphobes, misogynists, racists, bigots, you name the word, that's what we're being called. And we're staying here calm, waiting for you to stop throwing your tantrum so that we can discuss this with you. And now we're just deciding, okay, you guys can come to the table when you're ready. In the meantime, we're going to go vote in the other direction. And that's why people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves. And you can call them racist and misogynist and bigots, but they're from different marginalized identities, according to you. So are they racist? Are they bigots? I don't know. I guess they'll keep trying. And today it was transphobia. But I agree with Shermichael, and evidence is on their side that kids should not be transitioning. So for him to just blindly affirm this is wild, and to do so in a tantrum as a grown man is even crazier. But guys, drop your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, I encourage healthy debate, so if you disagree with anything said in this video, duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys!